Hello, everybody. Welcome into Washed Up Game Day. It is Saturday, August 29th. College football is back tonight, and we're here doing our college football show, the Washed Up College Football Show. We're glad you are in here watching. If you are, we're glad we can be here and finally talk some college football. How's everybody doing?
What's up, boys? Myles, nice hair in that intro, dude. Love that.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, I better enjoy it because I'm about to get it all cut off because I didn't lose enough weight, so my wife's going to In fact, I gained weight, so this is really good. It's good.
You earned it. You earned it.
I did. Yeah, I guess.
All right, so we're going to be here every Saturday to talk some college football, get ready for all the craziness, but all the greatness, because we're missing some conferences this year. And which is super unfortunate because we all are fans of teams that aren't playing this fall. But did Notre Dame save the college football season? And that's kind of where we're going to start the show today. When the Big Ten canceled the fall season, they said they were going to play in the spring. Kevin Warren was under the impression that the ACC was going to follow them, and that was reported by the reporters. The ACC was ready to make the same move the Big Ten did, but Notre Dame apparently saved the day, convinced them to play this fall. So, guys, I'm going to ask you the question. Did Notre Dame save the college football season? Because if the ACC closed up shop for the fall, the SEC might have been forced to do the same.
I'm never going to give Notre Dame any credit for anything, ever. Ever. No, I think the SEC was going to play no matter what. I think the pandemic could literally be 20 times worse. SEC is still playing football with fans in the stadium too. Honestly, they probably will cancel football before they cancel having fans in the stadium. So those two go hand in hand. But yeah, I mean, give Notre Dame a little bit of credit. Like they stood their ground. They said that they were going to play. They held true to what they were going to do. And, you know, the Big Ten, what a mess the Big Ten is. We'll talk about that later. But yeah. What an absolute fiasco they're going through. From not playing to leaking reports from their board that they're not playing to their commissioner saying that they're playing, and now they're playing again in November. It's just a disaster. So, yeah, credit to Notre Dame to holding their ground. And I think it made all the other commissioners of conferences a little bit more confident to make their decision, because you didn't want to be the only conference not canceling and not caring about college athletes' health, but, you know, you're still there.
Well, Colton's having technical difficulties, so I guess I'll go right now. You know, honestly, I'm kind of with Clay, like, F Notre Dame. But no, I think, like he said, dude, the SEC, they're going to play no matter what. And, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season they have, like, dude, Alabama, like, are they really going to push back enough? And, dude, we might see full stadiums in the SEC for crap's sake, dude. Like, Alabama, Auburn, those guys don't care, man. They're going to come out of their trailers and go to the game, like, for sure.
I saw a picture of Oklahoma State Stadium and how they're social distancing. It literally looks like a packed stadium. Like, it legitimately looks like they're selling out the stadium. So, you know who's going to have trouble selling out their stadium, even with 10% of it packed? Miami. They're never going to sell out their stadium. Nope. Those poor guys, even with 10%, they're like, we only got 3% of them filled today.
Yeah, great. Good for us.
Yeah. Release the PR stunts that they're caring about the pandemic more than the football. So
yeah, this is an advantage for some schools, man. Like, it's like,
yeah,
we're sold out today. Like, I mean, if the Big Ten were to play Rutgers, like, all 18 people, like that's all we wanted. That's all we
wanted. We got a normal crowd, normal atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the baseball team.
You know what? I'm with you guys. Yeah, definitely. I'm with you guys with not giving Notre Dame any credit. You know, being a Michigan fan, having a rivalry with Notre Dame and absolutely hating them every single year. But, you know, you got to wonder if they didn't convince the ACC to play, like how much more would that damage this season than it already has? Like, Trevor Lawrence wouldn't be playing. You know, Dabo Swinney wouldn't be coaching. So, you know, you get rid of that side of the ACC. Now we're literally just dealing with SEC country, and we all know what kind of headache that could cause on Twitter for everyone. You know, so just, you know, how terrible could it be if the ACC didn't get convinced by Notre Dame to play?
Yeah, I mean, there's really only one team that we all want to see play, right? Like Clemson's really the only guys that we want to see play. I do want to see the one team that I think is going to be underrated, and you've talked about it on Real Talk a lot, is North Carolina. I really, really love their squad. So I'm excited about North Carolina. We talked about it pre-show, Jacob, but Miami should be really, really good. We say that every single year, but on paper they should be a top 10, top 5 team. But with De'Aaron King transferring, and with that defensive end from Temple, they should be really freaking good. But here we are, Miami again, top 10 recruiting class, probably going to go 6-6 or whatever they do every year to make it barely past a bowl game, with like Florida Atlantic as their last game to squeak past 6 wins. So. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
We talked about Florida State a little bit too. Now, obviously, we talked about the bad coaching hires that they've made, Willie Taggart and now Mike Norvell. We don't think he's going to be successful. But that's a school, I believe, like Texas. They're always going to get the recruits no matter who the head coach is. So, we talked about Miami having, a set of recruits that are never successful. Florida State always has a set of recruits. And then they make bad hires and can't get over the hump. They're struggling to be 7-5.
Oh yeah, Florida State. I mean, what a dumpster fire it is over there, and they're not going to get better until they get somebody that ignites that fan base. Their fan base is just starving for wins, and they hire Mike Norvell from Memphis, who has 3 years of head coaching experience. He's 0-3 in bowl games. Congrats to him on having a great season at Memphis, but he had Brady White, who is like an 8th-year senior. So, I mean, like here we are, he's at Florida State. He has no ties to Florida State. The fans aren't like emotionally invested in him. I mean, you might as well go get prime time. At least they have some emotional investment in him, and Deion Sanders at least will like speak his mind and do whatever he wants for however long he wants. And, how fun would it be to play for Deion Sanders?
And Mike Norvell's kind of already hit a bump in the road this offseason with the team. I don't know if you guys remember way back in the George Floyd incident, he made some comments in a player meeting, and the player came out and said, yeah, that never happened. So he's hit some bumps in the road already. Now, apparently it's been resolved, between those players and Norvell. But you just, unqualified jobs, unqualified coaches for these jobs that are so high profile. It's not like he's taking this resume to Rutgers, or he's taking it, to Boston College. He's taking it to Florida State, who's a blue blood program that should be at the top of the college football world and isn't.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's crazy that they can't just get a home run hire. It's Florida State. It's a top 10 job. No matter how they're doing, the history that they have, the historical background, just in general that Florida State has, the facilities, the money that's coming in, the stadium that they have, it's a top 10 job, like it is.
Right.
And so for them to get the best group of 5 coach available every single year is just alarming. That it says to me that some coaches are passing this job up, which is not good for the future of Florida State. So if coaches are passing it up, and this really is the best that they can do every year, that's troubling. If I was a Florida State fan, that's not a position that I want to be in long term.
No, and I think of maybe not even just some assistant coaches at Power 5 levels. You look at Matt Rule. Obviously, he was going to the NFL, and you weren't going to have him pick Florida State over the NFL. But you take a Power 5 coach who's really successful at a Baylor's not a huge program. Baylor, isn't historically anything. So you take a coach that's being successful at a school like that and getting him to come to your blue blood program. I'm sure he would make that jump if he felt he could be successful at Florida State. So maybe it is coaches just feeling that's not a job I can win at.
Yeah, and the way that Florida State fans are right now, I mean, they basically ran Willie Taggart. I'm not a Willie Taggart fan by any means, but that dude never had a chance. As soon as he stepped on campus, he was fired basically the next day. So he had his year that he was there was a disaster. But like that being said, the first game, people were calling for his head already, and it was, you know, against a very good University of Florida team. So it's just, you know, it's a tough job. It is, and so. You know, we might be eating our words here. Norvell might kick ass and he might do really well. So who knows? We might be sitting here in a year and Florida State goes, you know, some crazy like 8-4 or something, and they do well in the ACC. I will say ACC, you know, there's a lot of like cupcake games. So maybe he has a good recruiting season and does well.
No, we're gonna sit here in week 8 and they're like 6-0, and we're gonna be like, all right.
Yes, we're gonna do that YouTube video. That's for sure.
They were supposed to come play Boise State this year, weren't they? Florida State.
Yeah, which isn't good for Norvell. Like they would definitely start off 0-1. They had a terrible. I was looking this up before just because I was wondering how tough it was going to be for Boise State, and Florida State had a pretty terrible recruiting year just because of all the indifference between Norvell and getting a new head coach and traveling and all that. So not a great recruiting year. I think it would have been honestly probably a 28-7, 28-10 game for Boise State, which is not great when you're an ACC power, right?
You think Boise State's that good, huh?
No, I don't. That's the problem.
You bring Coultin on, who can't hear or see anything. He's just down there, but you bring him on, man. He hates Hardison.
Yeah, I think the only thing that Boise State really has going for him right now is Bachmeier. Like he's probably going to come into his own here pretty quick. Also, what do you guys think about people getting like 7th years of eligibility left? Like, isn't that crazy?
It seems like every school coming BYU. Taysom Hill or whatever, played like 18 years. Like, I swear I was 8 when he started playing, and then he just.
He was like a 28-year-old rookie on the Saints.
Yeah, well, he's getting ready. He's setting up his retirement when he's a rookie. Like, got 6 years left. But
you know, I think that extra year of eligibility the NCAA is handing out is right, especially for the schools that aren't going to play this fall.
Sure.
But here comes the problem. So next year, they're all going to have more than 85 scholarships. So the NCAA is going to waive the 85 next year, so you can have more than 85. But the year after, you're still having a group of seniors that shouldn't be on scholarship but are there, and the NCAA is going to make them go back down to 85. So you're either going to not hand out scholarships to kids in high school, which is going to terribly affect your program, or you're going to tell seniors, hey, thanks for being here for the last 3 to 4 years. You've got to pay for your own education if you want to play for this football team this fall.
Yeah, that sucks for those poor high school kids in 2 years that are going to want a shot. Also, I was just thinking about this. There's going to probably be some kids with doctorate degrees ending their college football careers. Shout out Brady White of Memphis. Like if he redshirts this year again, he'll have 4 years at Arizona State, 4 full years at Arizona State. He grad transferred to Memphis, and he'll have 3 full years at Memphis, and he'll be on campus for 4 years. So technically, he should have 8 years of college degrees and everything. So I mean, he's just racking them up at this point.
Or he might just be a comm major, like at the end of it.
Taking the old victory lap way.
Yeah. That's what everybody gets. I was a comm major because, well, it's easy. So.
Hell yeah.
Let's talk about Heisman's a little bit. Yeah. Justin Fields isn't playing this fall, so he really won't be in this Heisman race. And, you know, if I was asking this question today in a normal season, obviously we would know probably the 2 of the 3 people headed to New York. But now you really only know 1 in Trevor Lawrence. Who do you think will be the other 2 headed to New York for the Heisman?
I'll go first. I think another ACC guy, the quarterback from North Carolina, Sam Howell. I think
love that dude.
Right. I mean, because we don't have a ton to pick from right now. Right. And then I'd probably go Texas QB Sam Ehlinger.
Yep.
Yeah, I think those 2, along with Trevor Lawrence, like those are my top 3. Like, just it obviously if the Big Ten's playing, Justin Fields, and then I forget the Minnesota quarterback's name, but maybe him. What the crap's his name? But anyway, like
I think
Hold on.
James Morgan.
I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, I think it's James Morgan. I think.
Yeah, I have two under the radar ones. One, and I love those picks, Sam Ehlinger and Sam Howell. I think they're going to have fantastic years this year. And basically, we're choosing like conference players of the year, and they might win Heisman. So like that's what we have to deal with. But another under the radar guy, KJ Costello, the transfer from Stanford to Mississippi State. I think that he's in Mike Leach's offense. He's going to have a way more fun offense that he's going to have to run instead of that boring Stanford, like pound the rock 40 times a game offense. He's going to air it out a lot more. He has a big arm. So KJ Costello from Mississippi State. And then my second one is De'Aaron King, another transfer from Houston, going to Miami. We talked about how Miami is, I don't know. It depends on how Miami is going to do. But that dude is a straight up electric factory. He is incredibly talented. At Houston, I mean, the 4 games that he played, because of the transfer rule, he played the 4 games, burned all 4 games. Then he was like, I'm out. And then he transferred. But those 4 games were so exciting. I remember betting the over on every single game and just hoping that he would make something happen. And he usually did. So De'Aaron King's probably my number 2, but KJ Costello, underrated. I mean, these are also to say that Trevor Lawrence is probably the front runner for all of these.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think that goes without saying. Trevor Lawrence he's the undoubted number 1 pick in the draft coming up, and we'll see what happens this year for Clemson.
Yeah, I think Trevor Lawrence probably gets to walk through this Heisman race unless Clemson loses some games. I'm going to take Myles' pick with Sam Howell. In 2019, the kid over 3,000 passing yards, had 38 touchdowns, only threw 7 interceptions. When they played Clemson last season, remember, he was only a true freshman last season. They almost pulled off the upset. He threw for over 100 yards
last year.
He had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And in the bowl game versus Temple, he was 25 of 34, 294 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Wow.
I don't see a sophomore year slump coming. I think Matt Brown's going to have him ready. And for my other pick, I got Chuba Hubbard, the Oklahoma State running back.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, 328 carries last season, over 2,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, averaged 6.4 yards per carry. He ran for over 100 yards in every game last season but 1, and had a touchdown in every single game last season except for 2.
Love that.
So
you said he ran for how many yards last year?
over 2,000. Just over 2,000.
And that's an offense, a spread offense where they're like airing out the ball 45
Yes.
times a game. So like that's just so impressive. So impressive. He was a guy that was not going to play this year, right? Like he was going to sit out because of the protests and all of that. So I thought for a while he basically, because I know Oklahoma State's head coach ran into a little bit of
Well, because he was wearing that shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And that's when Hubbard said I'm not gonna play this year.
Correct.
Then he realized his draft stock was sky falling. So
yes.
Yeah. So I'm glad to have him back in the fold. He's electric. Like when they were doing all those upsets at home last year in 2019, he was a big part of that. He was running for 200 yards a game when they were beating up on Texas and giving Oklahoma a run for their money in the rivalry game.
I was looking at fumbles for him. He did fumble twice in that Oklahoma game, which hurts. But this is another year of him being a veteran. He's the true leader on that Oklahoma State offense now. He might surpass the 2,000 mark by a couple hundred yards this season.
That'd be amazing.
Do you guys think that? I mean, because Trevor Lawrence, he wasn't that. He was good. He was great, but he wasn't like amazing last year during,
he struggled.
But do you think it's because he was bored? Because dude, like I feel like the second he got hit in that Ohio State game where it looked like he got knocked out and killed, all of a sudden something switched and he was on fire. Like, I think he reeled off that like 65-yard run and then just tore up Ohio State. Do you think like this is another year like where he's maybe like, I literally don't even have to try in this regular season, like till we get to the CFP?
I'm as big a college football fan as anybody. I have no idea why he's playing. There is so much money on the table for this dude. I would I get the teammate thing, bad teammate. I get all of that. There is nothing that he can do right now to not be the number one pick of the draft. I don't know why his parents and Dabo are not telling him to sit his ass on the bench. Like, he just needs to sit out. I do not get it. I mean, there's $35 million on the table for a 4-year contract for a rookie, number one pick, and he's still playing. I totally get the will to win and all of that. Oh man. But in a COVID year and a short season, I'd pack it up. And there's so many players that already have. For him, there's just I just don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, he has a lot to improve on. Last year, he struggled in moments. I mean, you saw that in the college football playoff games, but yeah, I just don't think he has any more to prove.
Well, I mean,
you know what? Go ahead.
$5 million insurance policy. Like, so if it says it's $5 million insurance policy that covers permanent and total disability if he is unable to play in the NFL. So, like, I would like to look into that more, because what happens if it just, like, breaks his leg, like a Jalen Smith,
right,
Notre Dame linebacker, or, like, what was that tight end from Michigan, something Butt or whatever, Jake Butt.
Yeah. Or his ACL in the bowl game.
Yeah, like, I mean, those guys all had, like, insurance policies as well, I believe, but, like, total disability, like, what does that mean? Like, he can't walk? Like,
And insurance is so tricky. Like, everybody knows insurance companies are there to make money.
If
So
you're an insurance agent watching, turn it off. We don't want you.
but they're here to make money. And so, like, to cash out on that policy would probably be extremely difficult. Total disability means that you are, like, impaired for life. Like, you almost can't have another job, not just NFL. So I'm always curious about those policies and how much they can actually cash out of the $5 million. Maybe they can only cash out $1 million. But if you have $35 million on the table, that's tough.
You know, you guys make good points with Trevor Lawrence, whether he's deciding to play or not. I honestly think if they were to win the national championship last year, he's not playing this season. I think the only reason he's playing is because he didn't win the national championship last year, and he feels that he's got to win it. But if he won it last year, you're right, Clay. He would not be playing. He has no reason to play. The only reason he does have is to win the national championship.
And Clemson also, like, Clemson just had that number one quarterback recruit sign with them last year anyways from California. And he was on QB1 actually.
He was the backup quarterback to the guy on Pinnacle.
Yeah. But the dude's a monster. He's like 6'4", dual threat quarterback. I mean, he's going to be, a top draft pick as well. So for Dabo, really, there is no gain for him. You obviously have one of the best quarterbacks in the country, but you also have a kid that you could, get some reps in as well. So really, there's no, if people are saying no, Dabo is like making him play, or Dabo's really wanting him to play, I would disagree with that as well. Just saying, hey, Dabo also has probably two of the other best quarterbacks in the country just waiting in the wings. So there's really no reason for him. So I'm sure Dabo and Lawrence have had those conversations over and over again. So, luckily he's playing for Clemson, though. It's almost a blessing in disguise that they lost that natty last year. So get one more year of Lawrence. But I know that ETN, he's not playing, though. He's opted out of the season, which was a big shock to me because he's also one of the best running backs in the country.
Right. And I think
I was reading through some of these different insurance policies. So, like, Marcus Lattimore, he got paid 1.7 for early retirement from his insurance policy. Jalen Smith, his wasn't that great. Looks like he got $700,000.
His doesn't shock me, though, just because he was on the road to recovery like the next day. His was bad, but yeah, like
they thought he had drop foot, I think. Like he was never going to be able to, like, move his ankle again.
Yeah, but he just signed like a monster deal with the Cowboys. So I can see how the insurance company was like, dude, you're like, after the dust settled and he was on his way back. Like, I mean, he's on a bazillion-dollar contract now.
Oh, yeah. But I wonder how soon these guys get paid out from that too. Like, is it right away? Is it years later? But anyway, insurance, we'll get into it on the next one.
We've kind of already mentioned it a few times throughout the show, but transfer portal. and, whether guys have been transferring long before, but we've already seen a couple of guys transfer because their school isn't playing football this fall. I'll mention one, Jake Burton from UCLA. He was their starting offensive tackle, and he's now headed to Baylor because UCLA is not playing football this fall. So you guys see any other names, any other big names out there that, are really going to help the team they transferred to?
Yeah, it's Clay's wheelhouse. We listed them off earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a couple of big time transfers just with De'Ara King, KJ Costello, but one of the bigger ones too is Quincy Roche going from Temple to Miami as well. So he was this all-time sack leader at Temple, transfers to Miami for the year. I think he's going to have a giant year, but there's even smaller ones. Being a Northwest guy, Tay Martin from WSU, he transferred to Oklahoma State. Just because Pac-12, this is specifically because the Pac-12 isn't playing. Tay Martin is one of the best receivers WSU has. He had an option to come back next year, but he forgave that and went to Oklahoma State. And I know he's going to be sorely missed at WSU because Tay Martin's one of the fan favorites up in Pullman. Well,
yeah, and you have Jamie Newman, who transferred from Wake Forest to Georgia to replace Jake Fromm. So interested, actually, Wake Forest was kind of had an electric offense, so I'd be interested to see how he does in Georgia's offense.
Are you guys shocked that no Boise State players have transferred because of them not playing? I'm very, very surprised. I think they could easily find places on rosters.
I think that with the NCAA giving everyone that extra year, it kind of put those players at ease. Hey, I've got an extra year, I can stay here. I'm okay. But like I said, if you're that, this was going to be your third year, yes, you get next year. But if you want to stick around for another year, you might lose your scholarship because they've got to cut down to 85 again.
How weird is the situation going to be when top draft picks, or not even top draft, fringe draft picks, they either have an opportunity to go to the NFL or they take the opportunity to go to the fifth year in college? I'm just thinking of for Boise State specifically, Jalen Walker is a good example. He's a great cornerback. He can come back next year. And I'm just shocked that he didn't transfer, honestly, to show scouts what he could do at a bigger level and then, go to the draft come next March. So yeah. I was really, really surprised we didn't see any. But it will be interesting to see who opts for the draft and who opts for their fifth year of eligibility for college. Because I think that's a lot of the deal too. I think some people are prepping for the draft right now. They didn't go to another college because they're just using this time for more NFL draft prep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Myles.
No, go ahead.
What I would really like to see is if the Big Ten doesn't start on Thanksgiving, which we're going to get to in a minute. If the Big Ten doesn't have a season until the spring, I'd like to see the Big Ten players travel to LA and play some Pac-12 players in a 7-on-7 game, so those skill guys get to show their, highlights, I guess.
That would be pretty rad, actually. Just like what we used to call that, Skelly or whatever back in the day when we played football. What was it called?
I think that is what it was called.
Yeah, Skelly, man, that'd be rad.
We call it 7-on-7 here.
Oh well, we're from.
We went to small school, so it was 4-on-4. No, I'm kidding. I'm interested too. I was kind of thinking of this when the Big Ten canceled their season or they're coming back. I don't freaking know anymore. But I was thinking of this. I don't know why some of the Big Ten, the best players in the Big Ten, don't just round up and make kind of like a ultimate freaking Avengers squad, and they go around and they just play people, right? They just go around like Justin Fields just rounds up some players from the Big Ten, and he's like, this is our last shot, or, here's the seniors, let's go out and play. And they just round up one team that goes and plays like non-conference schedules with like Alabama and stuff. I don't know how that would work. I'm sure Nebraska's AD would help whatever they need to do for them to go play. But I thought it would be kind of cool too. Like if the season was canceled, but some players wanted to opt into a season, doing like a 4-team tournament where they just round up, like it doesn't matter what school you're from. You just basically create your own squad. And then you go out there, because you guys have watched like the Elite 11 camps and stuff. Those are so fun to watch. Oh my God.
Yeah, dude, real quick, because Pablo's watching. Speaking of football, dude, this guy, he was 2 years older than me. Man, they just like let him and like Lester Gray and all these guys just beat the shit out of me every day. I don't know if Pablo remembers this, dude, but like, dude, like they just put me block Pablo, block Lester, block Kevin Crumley. I'm like, I can't. They're like 50 times. Those were the days, man. Pablo, if you remember that, let me know. If not, then I kicked your butt. So
I'm surprised you remember that. You get hit so hard.
Oh well, it's affected my speech.
Got that early onset CTE.
Oh, honestly, I don't doubt it. Like, like for real. But whatever, it's okay.
Isn't there a test you can take?
I think it's called spelling. I can't. So. All right, Jake. I'll turn it back to you. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. This was pretty funny. The Big Ten, we've kind of wanted to rip into them for a little bit now throughout the show. Rumors that they're going to start on Thanksgiving now, but that's apparently just the coaches talking, which they have no authority. I think they should just mess around and start on the 26th, pull the biggest April Fool's joke, and well, there you go, Myles.
Yeah, literally.
Dude, poor guy. Oh, geez.
Yeah, there's so much more to this. Like my helmet would dig into my skin and I'd start bleeding, and then like, it was fun, man. It was fun.
It sounds super fun.
Made me, like Pablo said, made me into the man I am today.
But Kevin Warren, has mishandled this situation through in and throughout. So I don't know your guys' take on the Big Ten. We don't actually know when they're going to play. I think if you can start on Thanksgiving, then you can start September 26th with the SEC.
So I don't think the Big Ten's going to play at all. Like, is that kind of what you're asking? Is if they play? Like,
I know you guys got any thoughts on Kevin Warren and how he's handled it? Any thoughts on the Big Ten? And then, I guess if you don't think they're going to play?
I don't. I think you either have to say, because I mean they've already canceled it and now they're coming back, like, or they may come back. Like, just pick one or the other, man. I feel like he's the freaking baseball commissioner of college football right now. Like, figure your shit out and just go with it. So that's me.
I'd be pissed off if I was any of the Big Ten schools or the players. Like, it's just been mishandled from the very beginning. I think that it was super popular in the very beginning to be the first school who canceled the season and say, "Oh, we cared the most about our players because we canceled first." And then it backfired on them because all the players were like, "What the hell, man? Like, we all opted into play. Like, if we wanted to opt out, we'll opt out. We have that opportunity. Every conference has that opportunity." And so I think it was just really flashy. It was really cool at first. And then Kevin Warren decided that it wasn't so cool. And now they want to play again. And it would be really, really tough for them to play any type of schedule. Even if they started on Thanksgiving Day, they wanted to start in spring. Now they're moving it up to like a winter ball type situation. And it's just going to be
which is smart because that's when, most people get sick is in the winter. So I would definitely put it in the winter.
It's just a mess. Like Myles said, I doubt that they play. They're going to try really hard, I'm sure, because now Kevin Warren has dollar signs in his eyes. So if they can recoup any of the money that they got this fall for TV money, then they're going to do it. But I just don't see it. I don't think that it's going to happen. And they screwed it up. On to 2021 for the Big Ten.
Colton, what about you? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, dude, we can hear.
Yeah, give Colin a break. It's like 4 a.m. in Alaska.
No, I don't know what the heck happened, but I couldn't hear anything. But anyways, yeah, I agree with you guys as far as like the Big Ten and mishandling it. I think the 7-on-7 tournament would be cool, and I would think that Justin Fields could be someone that he's probably the biggest star in the Big Ten that could facilitate. That could, he's got all these connections already that I think he could definitely facilitate something like that, and just quit messing around with this conference that doesn't even know what the hell is going on, and try and do something that everybody wants to see and just play damn football. Like I don't understand. And I don't think that they're going to play. I think it's too late. And I don't know. Have these teams even been practicing? Like, I just don't like when you said that, like, if they can play on Thanksgiving, they can play now? Like, have they been they haven't been practicing, right?
They've been allowed 16 hours a week.
Yeah. That's the thing is like, I just think that, I mean, maybe they could play by Thanksgiving, but I just think, man, you're going to, like, I don't know.
Well, I get the point you're trying to make. And what I think is something that's very stupid is if they're allowed to practice 16 hours a week, then why can't they just play a schedule? Because they travel?
Yeah.
Why doesn't everyone get on the same protocols? And because, I mean, look, Kevin Warren is going to look really stupid when the SEC starts playing and they crown an SEC champion. And Kevin Warren's sitting here with, his hands in his lap going, oh, well, that sucks.
Yeah. I really don't think that we're going to be able to finish a college football season, to be completely frank with everybody. I think that we're probably going to get 2 weeks in. College students are going to do what college students do. Yesterday, there was a report that 3 fraternities at Boise State all just got popped for throwing parties, so they're like suspended. And I'm sure they're not the only ones around the country. I'm sure that these football players are going to go out on Friday night or whatever. And even if they don't, even if you've seen people in the MLB bubble go out for coffee and get COVID, and then their whole team has COVID. So like,
or casino.
Yeah, or a casino.
But what they're saying now, they went to the casino to get coffee.
Yeah. I think the Marlin one was the coffee one, but I don't think we're gonna finish the season anyway. So the Big Ten is gonna get bailed out, which I really hope that the SEC or the ACC or the Big 12, any one of them, can finish the season and make the Big Ten look as stupid as possible. But I just don't. I don't think it's going to happen. Unfortunately, I would love if we could finish the season, but you're telling college students to not basically be quarantined and play football for 3 straight months, it's going to be tough.
And on top of like the quarantining we've already done, like I think we're all familiar with like quarantine fatigue. Like, dude, I didn't leave my house for like a month, and then I'm just like, F it, I'd rather die.
I'm taking this chance.
Yeah, dude, I'm obese and probably high risk, but guess what? I got O positive blood, so bring it on, bitch. Let's go.
I got a question for you guys, since you guys are kind of on the West Coast here. The Pac-12 hasn't really made as much noise that I know of as the Big Ten has about not having a season. I really haven't seen Pac-12 coaches come out and say, or players come out and really say anything.
They can't. Like, if you know anything about the West Coast, like, we're not going to get political on the show, but like, if you know anything about the West Coast, they're in cities that they absolutely cannot make any statements, or else they might burn their school to the ground. Like they're in Seattle, LA, Eugene, Oregon. Like, it's just, if you know anything about the West Coast, if they made one comment about,
I guess I didn't think about that.
Then it's the South is a lot different, more forgiving for sure. Mike Leach made the right move to go to Mississippi State so he can play a football season.
Well, dude, he would have been canceled. Like, what? I can't remember. Didn't he say something like a month ago? Like, he
said something about that, like Mississippi State flag, I think.
Yeah, dude, just he would have been canceled. Like, I'm surprised he's not canceled, but like,
dude, I feel like he's kind of uncancelable at this point, just because he says dumb shit every press conference. So like, it's one of those things where they're just like, just another Mike Leach rant, like, whatever. So
remember that one Mike Leach rant you showed us, like, where it's like these F-word laced rant, and he's not even making sense. Like, he's just gonna use.
It's him at Texas Tech. And it's like his famous rant at Texas Tech when they're down like 28-7 at halftime to Texas.
Dude, it was like he had a stroke and just laced with that thing. It was insane. Like it was all over the place. And Google it. It's one of the funniest things you'll watch, I promise.
Oh yeah.
Well, didn't he say like F you?
All right, so
oh God. Also, I'm glad he recovered after that like shed incident. You guys remember that?
No, what happened?
He at Texas Tech, that's why he was fired. He locked a kid in the shed because he like wouldn't do conditioning. So it was like 110 degrees outside, and he like locked this kid in a shed. It was at the practice facility and just like padlocked it.
I think it's, dude, I like it, man. That's how we were. I was never locked in a shed, but that's how we were coached, dude. Like,
honestly, so I don't know if you guys remember that whole story, but the kid got locked in the shed, and the kid was the son of an ESPN like reporter at the time, and the ESPN reporter like basically said it live on air, like Mike Leach is like abusing kids, and it came out that not only was that ESPN reporter like a dickhead, but so was the kid, and the kid was like vying for playing time, and the coach, the dad would call him all the time, and like he was just fed up with him, so he threw him in a shed. I was like, well, eventually that ESPN reporter actually got fired because he was like giving misinformation to ESPN. He was like trying to make it look way worse than it actually was. So, but good for Mike Leach.
When times were simpler, man, miss those days. Lock all your problems in a hot storage shed.
All right, Washed Up Game Day is presented by Kanga Coolers, and we got a clip that they sent us over.
Roll tape. Damn, I want a Kanga now.
I want the contents of the Kanga now.
Dude, that magnetic strap actually looks so sick.
I know.
Pop that baby open.
Easier access than that whole Velcro.
Yeah. You get away with it when you're around your wife a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's just a magnetic strap. A little bit more stealthy.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna put one by my bed tonight. Just make like fart while I'm opening, just like. No.
Are you even watching this movie?
What movie? Yeah. No, we're into Yellowstone right now, man. We're on season.
Oh, everybody's in the Yellowstone. I've heard good things.
That's a good show. Yeah.
We started Yellowstone last weekend, and we're on season 3 now. So just that's saying something.
Shout out to our boy Andrew Clark. He was pretty upset at season 3.
He was, and those like other people I know, like they're just like, dude, it's the way it ended. You'll be so pissed. I'm like, great. Do I just finish the season? Do I stop now? Like, what do I do?
That's hilarious.
Season predictions time. We only got 3 Power 5 conferences playing, and we got to get 4 teams into the college football playoff. Guys, give me your conference champions, and then just give me your conference champions first.
I'll go first. Clemson, ACC. Just because it's one of those weird years, and that's what happens. Auburn, SEC. I don't know how it happens, but it does. Don't make that face. Dude, it's when it's Auburn when you least expect it, they win it. Like, I'm being serious. So Auburn, Big 12. I'm gonna go Texas just because like I like Sam Ehlinger and I just want him to do good. I don't really believe it, but I'm just saying it because I want it.
Right.
And then, dude, I don't know.
Hold off on your 4th team. We'll get to everybody's 3 conference champs, and then we'll go through that.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I'm going ACC. I'm going to go Clemson. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to play with his hair on fire. There's probably a lot of people wondering, me, myself included, why he's playing. So he's going to show everybody why he's playing and throw for like 5,000 yards. And then, so Clemson, and then I've got Bama. Like, we're just going to go back to the old watering hole with Bama. I doubt that they lose, but like Myles said, it's the weirdest years that Auburn sneaks up on them in the Iron Bowl. And then my last team, I'm actually going to go with Oklahoma. I think Spencer Rattler, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And, you know, Oklahoma's just ringing them through. You know, you go from Baker to Kyler to Jalen
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, and then now you got Spencer Rattler. So yeah, going back to the QB college. So I think Oklahoma's going to win the Big 12.
Cool.
Well, I was going to pick the exact same thing as Clay, so I don't really know how to start this up. But yeah, I mean, I think Spencer Rattler is going to do great things, and as much as Alabama is running back university, Oklahoma's turned into the quarterback university. Like, if that's where you want to play quarterback, Lincoln Riley has proved that he turns guys into pros. So yeah, I go Clemson ACC, nothing exciting there. Roll Tide Bama SEC. And I think it's either Texas or Oklahoma. I'm probably giving the edge to Oklahoma. I mean, I don't know. I like Sam Ehlinger, and I want to root for that team, and I want them to win. But I just think like Lincoln Riley's proved so much that he can take guys and win the conference. So
yeah, we're gonna stay unanimous across the board with Clemson as the ACC champion. But I've got two teams that no one else has mentioned. In the SEC, I'm going to take Florida. I think they got a schedule this year that's going to kind of allow them to have a little bit of an easier road. I think Dan Mullen, he's already got them to where they want to be. They just haven't beaten Georgia yet. I think this is the year they beat Georgia. And I think just getting to the SEC championship would get them into the playoff. I think they'll win it, though. In the Big 12, I've got Oklahoma State. I kind of talked about it earlier with Chuba Hubbard being so good. I think this is the year, and I've said it for the last couple of years, so I'm probably wrong again, but that this is the year that Lincoln Riley just takes a little bit of a step back, and that's because I don't believe as much in Spencer Rattler as I did the other quarterbacks. I thought they'd take a step back with Jalen Hurts. Obviously, they didn't. But those are my three conference champions.
Yeah, I like it. Maybe the mullet brings it home this year in the Big 12.
Dude, mullets, baby. That's what this is turning into in about a week. Have to get it cut, but she didn't say.
Coultin, are you going to bring your flow back?
Well, since we're getting married, I have to. It's pointless because I'll have to get it cut before the wedding. So
I mean,
post wedding, I've already. So there was this clip on Instagram or on Facebook of this guy that like grew his hair out, and then he like shaved the sides and then permed his like mullet. And I already told Mackenzie that's what I'm going to do. So after the wedding, the flow will come back. So
well, so just the best thing about getting married is you gain weight, and you just kind of do what you want with your body, and your wife can't do anything about it. So enjoy. Oh, look at this. Myles Brennan and the Tigers coming back.
Yeah, dude. That Myles Brennan kid, he's LSU. Everybody's kind of sleeping on LSU.
Well, they lost like pretty much their whole starting lineup. I mean,
they lost their play caller. They lost their defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
They've lost everything.
They got a lot going against them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were good.
I love Coach O as much as the next person. I think that last year, I think he's going to have to ride last year for quite some time.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a Les Miles situation where he wins a championship and they just take him to the woodshed, just ride him off into the sunset here in the next little bit. And hopefully he retires before he gets fired in the next 5 years.
Dude, but I wouldn't be surprised if Myles Brennan just like Joe Burrows this year, dude, and throws for 4,000 yards. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, they still got good pieces there. Like Jamar Chase is the real deal. And I mean, they're obviously getting good recruits at year in and year out. So I think it's just like replenish and retool, like they're going to be good. So
I think we're gonna
power.
I think we're gonna find out how big Joe Brady was to that offense.
yeah.
Not as much. Obviously, Joe Burrow was huge. Obviously, everyone on that offense was huge. But we're gonna find out how good Joe Brady was at developing and play calling.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Like,
I mean, you see it at Michigan. Like the offensive coordinators are such a big deal now, especially at these giant schools. Like Coach O is not known for his offensive play calling, that's for sure. So you got to put pieces around you for that cover up the weaknesses, and that's Coach O's weakness right there. He struggled with at USC. The offensive coordinators at USC while he was there, while he was interim, struggled.
Did Joe Brady though? Did he call the plays?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Wasn't there another guy? It was like two of them.
There was two guys. Yeah. Joe Brady might have been the passing game coordinator.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, we know that
they chucked the ball a ton.
Yeah, exactly. He's obviously helping develop the quarterback and stuff like that. But did their OC leave too, or was it just Joe Brady?
I think he's still there, but LSU also lost their defensive coordinator, Dave Aranda, who had never left for a long time, even though he's been offered head coaching jobs, and he finally hit the road.
Jeez. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, man. But dude, just
is that the guy that his daughter passed away going to the game?
Oh no, was that
that was the co-offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that was the offensive coordinator with Brady. Yeah.
Dude,
that was dude, to get that report that helicopter crash right before the game is just devastating.
Do you guys want to know something real quick though? Just to change that subject because that's sad, but Joe Brady is younger than I am.
No way.
Yeah, dude, he's like 6 months
30 years old.
He's
1989.
Yeah. So, dude, that's what have I done with my life?
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Dude, the Panthers, Matt Rule has a good haul. You got Joe Brady over there. The Panthers might have something going there.
Well, their defense is still trash.
That's true. But Matt Rule, isn't he he's a defensive guy, right? So.
Yeah.
I love that hire, by the way. Just I'm excited to see how it pans out. I know not all the time from college to NFL doesn't work, but dude, I think it will, man.
The way that Matt Rule handled Baylor in the most tumultuous of circumstances, the way he was able to do that, I mean, he could have got hired anywhere. I think I'm really rooting for him. I think that he's a good dude.
Remember, Bill O'Brien did the same thing at Penn State after Joe Pa, and look what he's done with Houston. He's I think
that's because they gave him too much power. So
yeah, they gave him he's
a GM too.
That's why you can't. Only Belichick should get that right.
What do you mean? Bill O'Brien's making some great trades.
What's DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, for the other teams,
dude. Yeah, dude. Broke. You got to be kidding me. What? Anyway. I don't know. That's like trading for JJ Stokes back in the day or something like that. They're both Niners receivers now that I think about it. But dude, what a stupid ass trade.
Good for Kyler Murray though. I mean, he's got a big target to throw to.
That's true.
Yeah. All right, let's get to everybody's 4 college football playoff teams. Obviously, we all named 3. Who's your last one? Who faces off in the national championship and who wins it?
I'll go first again because, well, that's what I do. So we have Clemson versus Auburn in the 1-4. And then somehow, some way, we have Texas versus Oklahoma 2-3.
Okay.
I don't know how
who wins it all.
Huh?
Who wins it all?
I just want Trevor Lawrence to go out on top. So I think Clemson. Without Ohio State, I just don't see Alabama being what it was last year. So I go Clemson.
I like that pick. I'm probably going chalk here. Yeah, I'm going with Clemson. It's going to be really hard to beat that team. They're so freaking deep. With the returning starters and the recruiting class that they had, it was far and away the best recruiting class in the country. But my 4th team, I'm going SEC again. I'm not going Auburn. I'm actually going to go Georgia. I think Georgia might make a run at the 4th spot there. So Georgia is I like Oklahoma, Georgia, Clemson, and then who's my other? Who did I say is going to win?
You said Bama.
Yeah. So I think it's probably I like a Bama Clemson national championship. I think Oklahoma, we've seen Oklahoma in the college football playoff until they prove to me that they can actually win in the college football playoff against these big boys, then I'm going to have to pass on. So I think a Bama Clemson championship is on the rise. And then I think Clemson is going to take it home this year.
Yeah. As much as I'm a Bama fan, I'll try and keep my bias out of here. I think that Clemson, like, it's theirs to lose. I mean, especially like I love Trevor Lawrence and I want him to see win another title and kind of just leave on top and just solidify that he's the best. But yeah, so I'll go Clemson 1, Bama 2, Oklahoma 3, and then, man, I don't know. I guess Texas had a hard schedule last year, but man, yeah, I don't know. I'll go Texas, I guess, for the 4th team. But yeah, I think it's Clemson's to lose. And as much as that, I hate saying that, I just, that's the real, like, that's the truth. So,
yeah, I've got Clemson 1, Florida 2, Oklahoma State 3. My 4th team in would be Auburn. A 1-loss team loses the SEC championship to Florida. Clemson will smack them in the semifinal. Florida will blow out Oklahoma State in that semi. So we got Clemson, Florida national championship. And again, across the board, Clemson wins it all. I don't think there's really going to be any arguing there. Let's go into pick'em. We got 3 games to pick from. Austin Peay and Central Arkansas face off tonight, 9 p.m. on ESPN. These 2 teams squared off last year. Central Arkansas won 24-16. Let's go some picks, Myles.
Dude, I am going the Governors from Austin Peay. That's right. I don't think the Central Arkansas Bears will win, but dude, I'm going with the Governors, baby. Let's go.
I'm going to go with Central Arkansas. I think that
you would.
Well, Austin Peay, like, it's just a ridiculous way to spell that. So that's just so stupid.
Right? Dude, how stupid. Like,
absolutely ridiculous.
I've always like been like Austin Pive, like, like the vegetable.
I've said it that way too.
Yeah, dude. That's what it looks like.
How excited are you guys to have college football this Saturday? Like, what the hell? Like, it's today. I don't care who's playing.
Right.
Yeah, pretty hype. Yeah, I'm going Central Arkansas too. I know nothing about either of these teams, but the fact that they won last year, and yeah, Austin Peay Governors, like, what? That's not intimidating at all. So, yeah, going Central Arkansas.
Dude, have you seen House of Cards? Have you seen what's happening in this pandemic? Governors have all the control, baby. Governors. It's not the country's government that runs your state. It is your local government. If you want change, talk to your governors.
All right. Well, we're going to strap up Brad Little, see what he can do on the gridiron.
The second we started talking politics, we went down to 2.
I think people would really enjoy the little Governor's alumni football game. That'd be hilarious.
That would be pretty rad.
We'll pick the other 2 games that are going to be played on Thursday that we'll probably talk about next Saturday. Central Arkansas is going to take on UAB Thursday, 8 o'clock on ESPN3. Myles, who are you picking?
Central.
Okay. 2-0 to start the year. All right.
Let's do this.
Oh, Central Arkansas vying for that college football playoff spot. I'm going to go UAB. I actually did a little bit of research on UAB, and they have a ton of players coming back. Austin Watkins, one of their wide receivers, he's a Blitnikoff Award finalist. He had 1,000 yards receiving last year. So UAB, UAB has the luxury of being in Alabama, where it's just a breeding ground for recruits. So it's anybody who falls by the wayside in the SEC, UAB usually gets. So I'm going to go UAB.
Yeah,
Cool.
same. Man, I need to go before Clayton because he literally is stealing words out of my mouth. I was going to say, like, anybody that doesn't go to Bama or Auburn, they're going to UAB. So, I mean, this is a real program. They've put some guys into the pros before, and I think you have to pick UAB here.
I'm going to go Central Arkansas with Myles. I'm going to say that they're going to be able to carry over from what they did tonight to next Thursday, be a little bit fresher, be a little bit more ready, and I think that start will change things. South Alabama is also going to take on Southern Miss on Thursday, 8 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. Two Southern teams going at it. Myles, who you got?
South Alabama. I probably should have done a little more research on this matchup, but if I recall right, like Southern Miss hasn't been good since like 2013. So I'm going South Alabama. Wasn't South Alabama like 6-6 last year? And didn't they have an up? I'm gonna go Google real quick. I think they had like a big upset.
We'll see how we do on these picks. This is a classic 1-star matchup in NCAA 14. These are teams you take as 1-stars and get a better job down the road. So I know absolutely nothing about these two teams. Did absolutely no research. I'm gonna go Southern Miss. It's their time to shine, I think.
Yeah, I actually we've Clay and Myles, you guys have probably seen Southern Miss play. They came to Boise State one year and got freaking clapped, but that's the only reason I'm picking them is because I've seen them play. And I think at one point in time they also had like Brett Favre's like nephew or with his nephew.
I think
I'm
Brett
not sure.
actually went there.
I thought Favre was coaching for a little bit at Southern Miss, like just pro bono.
Southern Miss was that one school. So do you guys remember? He's a journeyman in the NFL. Oh crap! He's the one that threw the pass to Diggs for the Vikings. The white quarterback that Case Keenum.
Oh, Keenum. He went to Houston, didn't he?
So he played at Houston. Houston was about to get like the big bowl bid, but Southern Miss upset them like the last week of the season. 2 weeks left in the season, and they ruined it. But I think I'm going to change my pick because I looked at how South Alabama did last year, and they trashed.
He gets all those SEC washouts. South Alabama, not so much.
Dude, no, I'm looking here, and I see they won 1, 2, 3 games. So I'm going to Southern Miss, who probably won 2 games last year, but Southern Miss is my team.
Yeah, we're Southern Miss all across the board. I'm taking them too. That'll do it for Washed Up Game Day Week 0. We'll be back next Saturday to preview those games there and talk about any other headlines going on in the college football world. Have a great day as college football is back.
College football is back. Oh, Colin's got that roll tide on.
Baby. War Eagle, let's go. All right. Hey, nice job, Jacob. Blast.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Good job, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
You guys.